At some point in our lives, everyone has taken a shot at a basket and probably made one, but Morgan was always up for a bigger challenge. Every summer, she became stronger and more determined in achieving her goal of shooting a basket across the pool while jumping off a diving board backwards. This was a competition that ran the duration of the summer. We kept track of everyone's baskets on a big dry erase board. Morgan was going to be the one to beat. Morgan's enthusiasm for life will leave a void in our hearts. The loss of Morgan saddens us deeply, but I would like to take this time to celebrate her life. On behalf of Mike, Patty, Jordan, Tyler, and Tucker, their dog, the family wishes to express their sincerest gratitude and appreciation for all your love, prayers, and support. Morgan will be dearly missed, but the memories she created with family and friends will live on forever. We gather today in memory of Morgan Parker. There will be no statue or monument commemorating her life's achievements, only a legacy of love, compassion, and respect for family and friends that will continue for generations to follow. She had a hard-working and determined personality, a passion for sports, and unconditional love for her family and friends. To begin, Morgan had an uplifting personality that always put a smile on the faces of others. She had a contagious smile, a great sense of humor, and a passion for life. Morgan was always hard-working and determined in every aspect of her life. Whether in the classroom or on the court, she always gave 100%. In high school, she took AP classes to give herself an advantage in college, and she trained year-round in hopes of being recruited for volleyball. Morgan took 3 AP classes and 2 college Spanish classes in high school to earn college credit and had the opportunity to begin college in more advanced classes. Morgan played varsity volleyball during the fall, club during the winter, and participated in track and field during the spring. All of her perseverance and hard work landed her a spot on the UW-Whitewater women's volleyball team. She maintained a 4.0 GPA freshman year and received a spot on the dean's list at UW-Whitewater by attending class, being attentive, asking questions, and spending sufficient time on homework and studying. She was diligent in staying organized and on top of projects and upcoming tests. On top of receiving a 4.0 GPA, Morgan was a student athlete. Being a student athlete in college requires impeccable time management. Morgan was able to balance her studies with practices twice a day, conditioning, lifting, and traveling. Morgan was hardworking and determined in the classroom and on the court. Her hardworking and determined attitude contributed to her success in volleyball. Morgan's continued perseverance and love of the sport led to her recruitment for the UW-Whitewater women's volleyball team. Her passion and perseverance never went unnoticed, whether she was on the court playing or cheering on her brother and giving him pointers. Morgan loved every aspect of volleyball, whether she was on the court helping her team out or traveling with her brother and cheering him on. She worked hard on varsity in high school during the off-season and during the season to earn a spot on the team. She was voted as a team captain senior year and led her team to a second-place finish in conference and a regional championship. This past fall was her first season at Whitewater. Morgan made lifelong memories with her team that soon became her family. Although nervous, Morgan thrived on the high demands that being a student athlete required. Some of her favorite memories were walking into the locker room for the first time and seeing a locker with her name on it and it filled with t-shirts, shorts, socks, shoes, and much more. Next, a crazy scavenger hunt led them to tailgating and watching a Brewers game. A team trip to Virginia where they'd be a top-ranked team, and most excitingly, when they received a bid to the national tournament after 3.5 months of hard work in the gym. Morgan's younger brother Tyler was an avid basketball player, but came to love the sport of volleyball just as Morgan had. She loved traveling to watch Tyler play basketball and cheer him on. Morgan was ecstatic when Tyler began to show a love for volleyball. She would play with him out in the backyard and offer pointers where she could. The whole family traveled to Reno, Nevada for his nationals last summer where his team placed third in the country. Morgan couldn't have been more proud or happy to see her brother be so successful. Sports were a huge part of Morgan's life, and she was constantly working out and trying to improve every aspect of her game, while supporting her younger brother in his sports as well. Although sports were a passion of Morgan, nothing was more important than her family and friends. Morgan's unconditional love for her family and friends was evident in her everyday life. Morgan loved spending time with her family, whether they were on vacation in Florida, boating up north, or family game nights. She lived for late summer nights with friends, hanging around the pool and swimming. Morgan was a very social person and loved being constantly surrounded by family and friends. Some of our best memories are from family vacations to Florida. The drive to Destin was a long one, but we always found ways to entertain ourselves. Morgan's grandparents drove to Florida with them, and one year her grandpa bought walkie-talkies to communicate between the two cars. It was little things like this that made these trips so memorable. Once in Florida, walking the beach, jumping the waves, collecting shells, and building sandcastles were among favorite activities. During the summer, Morgan looked forward to going up north, where they would spend days on the lakes, inner tubing, water skiing, and wakeboarding. I will never forget the facial expressions and the shrieks Morgan made when jumping into cold water, or even when a piece of seaweed would touch her leg. Along with spending time with her family, Morgan loved being with friends. They were always hanging out and going on new adventures. From school dances to movie and game nights to late nights on the bonfires or swimming, Morgan was surrounded by an amazing group of fun and supportive friends. They would miss her enthusiasm and spontaneity. Morgan held a special place in her heart for her family and friends. From Morgan's funky personality to her excitement for volleyball and devotion to her family and friends, she will always hold a place in our hearts and leave a mark on our lives. A better daughter, granddaughter, and loving friend would be hard to find. She's in God's hands and always was. We just ask God to hold her a little closer today, tomorrow, and always.